In this video, we are going to go over everything we make sure to have when we home birth our children. We are not licensed professionals, so this is just personal advice, but we have had 4 safe, natural home water births. All praises to the Most High. So we do have a lot of experience here. This list is not exhaustive. You can get more or less things if you so choose, but these are the things we generally always have. And I will also talk about the mindset you must also have towards the end. By the way, this was 1 month ago. I was 39 weeks pregnant here with our 4th child. This was also late at night after putting our children to bed and stuff, so I was definitely tired here. Now let's get started. So, the first thing you will need if you are planning a water birth at home is a drinking water hose. This is super important because this hose is BPA free and pathlet free, and it doesn't leach any potentially harmful chemicals or lead into the water. Make sure it's made in the USA and NSF certified. Next, depending on the kind of faucet you have, you will probably need a faucet hose adapter. You will need this adapter so you can attach your drinking water hose to your faucet and fill up your birth pool in the house or outside if you want to birth there. This is one that's made of brass. There are some online, especially the ones that are included with the birth pools in a box. They are plastic, but I just like to use the brass one. This is another hose that we will use to drain out the pool with the sub pump. We will show that a bit later. Now, this isn't necessary for birth, but I use it right after, so I like to buy it when I buy my birth stuff. It's a manual breast pump, the Haka brand. It's very useful for catching the milk that comes on the other side when you're having a letdown. Also, if you, like me, start making a lot of milk faster than your baby can drink, this will help relieve any engorgement. Now, this is the birth pool air pump. You will definitely need that to blow up the pool. That's pretty self explanatory, but don't forget that. Now, this is the sub pump I mentioned earlier with the separate hose we use. You can attach the same, hose that you fill up the pool to drain it as well. That's if you don't plan on reusing the hose or you can clean it out really good afterwards. Or you can get a separate hose to drain the pool with. This just makes things easier for me to have a separate hose, but you're free to do what you want. You can drain the water hose into a utility sink. That's what we are doing this time. But we have also drained the water directly outside a window into our flower beds, or you can use your kitchen sink. Whatever you have available is totally fine. Just wanting to make sure that you have a sub pump. This can be a big sub pump, much bigger than what we have. A small one will work. It just takes a little longer, but you definitely need that for sure. Now, this is a bag of 25 non sterile gloves, and then we have 4 packs of sterile gloves. These are nice to have when you're dealing with anybody putting their hands in the pool or touching you or even touching baby afterwards. Next up is the Oasis Oval Pool Liner. Each birth, I have used a different birth pool. This time, I'm using the Oasis pool, and I will also give my review of this pool at the end. But you want a pool liner, so make sure that it's made for the pool you are using. This is a cute little duck floating birth pool thermometer to check the temperature of the pool. It's important that the water temperature is assessed at least every hour, maintaining between 98 to 100 degrees or 37 to 38 degrees Celsius. It helps prevent the baby from experiencing hypothermia or hypothermia. That was a water birth net used to catch anything that you might find floating in the water, or even if you happen to have a little bowel movement when pushing, which is common. Don't worry about it. Don't be embarrassed. Just remove it quickly and you won't have to worry about it contaminating the birth pool water. Trust me, it's normal. It even happens when you have birth out of water. So, it happened to me during birth too, and thankfully my husband isn't the squeamish type, so he just got rid of it pretty fast. I probably wouldn't have even known had he didn't tell me. Next is the plastic drop cloth for the floor. It really comes in handy in case there are any spills when adding hot water to the pool, if your hot water heater runs out of hot water, or getting in and out of the pool. This is a pair of sterile operating scissors for cutting the umbilical cord. Behind it is a sterile bulk syringe if you need that to clean out the baby's nose afterwards. A common question I get is, doesn't the baby get water in his nose or doesn't it breathe in the water? Well, a healthy baby has a dive reflex that prevents them from taking their first breath until they are exposed to air. This is why it's really important when having a water birth that baby is born completely under the water and not exposed to cooler temperatures or the air until after their face is brought to the surface. So, these are some more of my afterbirth must haves. This is coming up first, a perineal cold pack. I'm maybe saying that wrong, but they are really helpful for easing the pain, whether due to stitches, bruising, or general soreness. They also reduce swelling and promote healing after birth. This is a Perry bottle. I use it to gently clean down there after using the bathroom and those first days after giving birth. Those are some extra large contoured pads for bleeding after birth. This is a sterilization pouch, which is needed if you need to sterilize anything. It's just helpful to have on hand for emergencies. This is a pack of sterile water birth gloves if anyone needs to really get into the water and maybe it goes up really high past like your elbows too. So it keeps all that clean. These are some fluff underpads needed for the bed after birth to catch any bleeding or if you need to get out of the water for any reason. These are some things for baby. I like to use this clean print, no mess disposable foot printer to capture the baby's footprint. This is a baby's hat, as well as the infant paper tape measurer for capturing baby's measurements, and a cord clamp for the baby's umbilical cord. There were also some alcohol prep pads in there. Now, for the Oasis birth pool. Since this audio is being recorded after we have had birth, and so I've given birth in this pool already, I'm going to go ahead and give my review. So, like I said earlier, I've used 3 other birth pools. This time I got this one because in all my other births, I thought that, the birth pool was kind of big and I really didn't need that much space. But now that I have given birth in this pool, I realized I actually did like all that space with the other pools. I think the other pools I used were the La Bassin Maxi Professional Birth Pool. I've used the Oasis Elite as well as the Mia Via Tranquility Birth Pool. We're going to blow this birth pool up so you'll get to see how big it is. It's definitely, though, a lot smaller than I'm used to. It does fit 2 people, not really comfortably for birth, though, at least for me, because I like to move around in the water and I like to have my husband in the birth pool. This time around, towards the end, when I was pushing, my husband actually got out to really, so I can grip and hold on to him. So that was a different experience because I really do enjoy having him being able to catch the baby when I'm pushing. But I just could not get comfortable in this pool like I do my other ones. Oh, so this is a commemorative birth certificate I like to frame for my children that has space for me to capture their sweet footprints on. But back to the review. So, like I was saying, I really took for granted the leg space that I had in the other pools. I couldn't really stretch my legs out like I wanted to when resting in between contractions. Now, this might not be a problem for some women with shorter legs, but I have pretty long legs. So, yeah, this pool also doesn't, have handles that I do like to use during the pushing phase. I don't know how I overlooked that. You just forget so many things after you give birth. But I really like having handles on the side of the birth pool so that you're able, during the pushing phase to really pull up. This one just does not have those handles, as you see. I ended up having to pull on my husband and while he was standing on the outside of the pool. So that was, different too. But, like I said, with all my other births, he was in there with me the whole time. This time he did stay in there for, a decent amount of time though. So we were able to get some cuddle time in if you like that. So, some things that was good about the pool though was that it was really easy to blow up and it didn't take long at all because the pool is not super big. The pool also comes with some great safety instructions. This talks about, how to drain the pool, how to store your pool, the warranty tips for extending the life of your pool if you want to use it more than once, as well as tips for filling up your pool. This pool doesn't need a whole lot of water to fill up. We have a well, so we weren't really concerned about that. But if you pay for water, it is probably like filling up a bathtub maybe 3 times. I actually like more water when birthing because the water helps me to, float. And that really relieves a lot of pressure for me. So that was another thing I didn't necessarily like. I'm going to speed this up a bit as we are prepping to blow up the pool. But one last thing I didn't show here, you must have are some towels. You will want some of them warm for you, mother, and the baby when getting out of the pool. So I like to keep some in the dryer and just to have someone turn on the dryer whenever you or the mother is pushing. That way they are nice and hot when needed. They also include like some tools to patch up the pool if you so happen to get a hole, especially if you are using this pool the second or third time around. That really comes in handy. So it's nice they send that. Along with this stuff, my midwife does send some extra stuff for me to have just so that she can, have some stuff here ready to go along with anything else she may bring. Some midwives do happen to bring some herbs or anything for pain relief. So, those are some extra pads that you can use if you want to use those. Those are also some bed pans for like waist or ice, they can be useful. Coming up is a fetal heart monitor and gel. It's waterproof and pretty much essential for a home water birth or just a home birth in general. It's always nice to hear those reassuring fetal heart tones. My midwife checks a few times during the different phases of labor and delivery, as well as during a few contractions to see how well baby is during them and if there are any signs of distress during them. This is really helpful and it doesn't take very long at all. Also, coming up is a flashlight, and in particular, you may or may not use that, but I like to have one just because I really do like to have my birthing space pretty dark. It really helps to make those natural feel good hormones on your own when it's nice and dark and peaceful. This is also helpful during the pushing phase because you can use a mirror and the light so that you can see, what's going on down there, as well as, seeing the color of the amniotic fluid. There are also some more buckets I see that, if you just so happen to get sick, I think I mentioned that. What's coming up? Oh, that is, yep, those extra uh, smaller ones. Yeah, like I was talking about, if you just so happen to get sick, and some extra baggies if you need those. This is a pan for examining the placenta on. Examining the placenta gives you some insight on the intrauterine environment that's going on. It can also provide insight into some clinical problems that may not become evident for hours or even days after delivery, as well as, any predictive things for future pregnancies that you need to be aware of. It's usually done immediately after birth. Another thing here that is not shown is a thermometer. My midwife does check my temperature a few times as well during the labor just to make sure that I am feeling all right. I think those are some extra gloves. So while we wait for the birth pool to finish blowing up, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the mental and spiritual aspects of birth. I praise the Most High, Ahaya Bahashim Yeshaya, for being with me and giving me the opportunity to birth safely 4 times at home. I have never had to use any herbs, extra oxygen, had any emergencies, or needed any hypnobirthing techniques and stuff during my births. I really just relied on the Most High and prepared myself mentally to find peace with my body in the birth process, trusting that my body knows what it is doing. It was made to give birth and will do so effectively as long as I got out of the way and allowed my body to do its job. What I mean by get out of the way, I'm going to go into shortly. But I do want to say the birth pool is pretty much blown up here. As you can see, I'm going to hold it up. It's not very big, but it could be enough for some birthing moms. Here, I'm going to also test it out, and I definitely recall telling my husband that it seemed very small for me. I was right, but we made do for what we had. So you can definitely make do with this pool. It is cheaper than the other pools that I have gotten, so this could be a determining factor for some moms as well. Now, back to the mental and spiritual aspects. So, I heard it best the first time I was pregnant. I had read a book called The Birth Without Fear. I really recommend this book. It said that superstition, civilization, and culture have brought influences to bear upon the minds of women, which have introduced justifiable fears and anxieties concerning labor. The more cultured the races of the earth have become, so much more have they pronounced childbirth to be a painful and dangerous ordeal. Thus, fear and anticipation have given rise to natural protective tensions in the body. Now, this is what I mean by you have to get out of the way. Mentally, you must get rid of fear, anxiety, because such tensions are not of the mind only, because the mind causes protective action by the body to kick in, which includes muscle tension. Unfortunately, the muscle tension produced influences those muscles which also close the womb and oppose dilation of the birth canal during labor, which essentially causes more pain or causes for a longer, more drawn out labor. Therefore, fear inhibits, that is to say, it gives rise to the resistance at the outlet of the womb. When in their natural, normal state, those muscles should be relaxed and free from tension. This resistance gives rise to pain because the uterus is supplied with sensitive nerve endings which record pain arising from excessive tension. So it is necessary in order to relieve tension and eliminate pain during birth, you must overcome fear. This allows for the brain to produce lots of feel good hormones that allow the mind and body to relax during birth. I do also recommend proper midwifery during pregnancy because it is the birth of a baby in a manner nearest to natural law and design. And good midwifery, next to a wise and healthy pregnancy, sets the pattern of the newborn infant and its relationship to its mother. You can do this. If you're a woman, learn how to overcome fear and just trust yourself that you can do this, whether it's telling yourself daily or having a good supportive system around you. Peace and blessings to you.